So I recently made a video regarding Emily and Kobe and how their parenting styles was just not matched in any shape or form. This is something that we spoke about based on their most recent episode of 90 Day Diaries. Well, here's the thing. Since then, people have now decided to make this into a conversation on Reddit, which is why we're here to discover and read pretty much what people have had to say. So as you can see, this person says, has a server bartender I really dislike her more? And starts off by saying, her, being Emily, I'm just a really relaxed mom. No girl, you checked out. You don't want to parent your kids because it's hard. You don't want to hear them cry, scream, or yell. We legit hate parents like you who let their kids wander and play in the restaurant. People want to enjoy their food, and staff have enough to do with without having to dodge your kids. We can't even see when we are carrying a tray of food, which, to be fair, is a very, very good point. And to be fair, nowadays, depending on where you live, we now have obviously the self-service, the robotic waiters, you know what I mean? Imagine your kid's running and your kid doesn't see one of these robots and then clashes into the robot that's obviously now serving people the food. Just bear in mind, a robot isn't necessarily going to move out the way, because the ones that they use now at restaurants, I believe they can only see forwards. They have sensors side to side, but here's the thing, if they sense something coming, they're not going to move. They're going to freeze and stop and wait for the threat to move out of the way. So point being is, if you're a child now and you're running around because your parents don't have you under control and you run into a robot, boom, smack bang, you're going to feel the impact of the plastic or the metal, depending on the material that it is made from, and therefore the kid may even walk away with a concussion, may even walk away with a bloody head, nose, and end up being in hospital. You never know. Point being is that that's another thing that people have to be aware of when it comes to allowing your kids, or not being able to control your kids, obviously when you're in a public setting, so much to the point that not only are they in the way of bartenders, waiters, but they can also end up clashing with, you know what I mean? And also on top of that, even if they were to clash into like a bartender or waiter or anything like that, the maddest thing about it is that a lot of the time it will be the adult that's now been clashed into by the child that they say, oh, I'm so sorry, when in reality it's not their bloody fault. And sometimes you get those parents that look at that person and be like, why don't you move out of the way? Get out of the way of my damn kid. What the hell are you talking about? So to be fair, I definitely understand what this person's saying. They're speaking levels. That's why, to be fair, if I go out somewhere like to a shopping mall, which is a rare thing, when I do come across parents who, when they're walking, if they see their child is obviously about to walk into someone else, they'll pull their child to the side, or they'll say to the child, move out the way. Either way, I like the fact that I see it when they do it, and also most important, if their kid was to not even necessarily actually clash with you, but they see the child's about to get in your way, they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry for that. See that? I love parents do that, because it tells me that their mind is in the right place, but the ones that look at you as if you're the problem is nasty business. And also on top of that, if you're a parent who's got a child on the spectrum, on the other hand, obviously we know things can be very, very different, which is why, of course, you have to be even more super cautious, obviously, about how you go about things. These are all the things that people have to take into account before even being a parent. And then once you are a parent, these are the things you have to remember about being a parent. Not people who have kids and then be like, it's too hard. Let me just enable my child to eat food. Let me just enable my child to be naughty and hit other kids. Let me just enable my child to get rude to other adults. Let me just never have any discipline. And obviously we saw this in this clip here, obviously when I did play regarding Emily and Kobe, where she happily allows their son to pretty much stand up on the chair around the dinner table, which is unacceptable. But nonetheless, though, we continue here with this person says, about 8 years back, co-worker collided with a 5-year-old whose parents were letting their kids wander and drop hot food all over the kid's head, as well as large, heavy plates. The parents demanded to speak to the management, who were also the owners, who had told them it was their fault for letting their kids wander around unsupervised. Facts. They had been warned a few times before this happened. Emily, your kids walk all over you. Nothing but factual stuff, your kids do walk all over her. But do you know what, at the same time though, it's not even the case where her kids walk all over her. It's more of the fact that you allow your kids to walk all over you, because really and truly, kids can never walk all over their parents. Parents can only allow their kids to walk all over them. It's just that simple. Just the same way we talk about how Matt is a doormat for Jasmine. It's because he allows himself to be a doormat for Jasmine. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Emily's allowing this behavior because she wants to go for the more relaxed approach. Let's get into some of the responses that people had to say regarding this post stuff in particular. 100% take your kids outside for a breather and tell them they are not to behave like that in public, or you will go home. That's simple. I mean, to be fair, it is that simple if you've already got a very good foundation of discipline already established, you know what I mean, within your family home, then yes, it is as simple as that. But if it's not simple, then that clearly exposes that you've been able to set a good standard. Do you see what I'm saying? So there is that part too. Then also here, continue by saying, my kids are past the run around and scream stage. But this is exactly what we always did. One of us would take the offending one outside and let them burn it off or whatever, and then rejoin everyone or wait in the car / outside till the end, LOL. Did that happen to me once? No, that was a different situation. Anyway, with that being said, I get it. If it's like a single parent trying to have a meal and you're both there, tag team them. I mean, listen, to be fair, at the same time, obviously, when you are a single parent, you can argue and say that does make things slightly harder for you. And to be fair with you, given the fact that there are people out there who are amazing single parents and they have to tackle those things alone, but yet we got people who are not single parents and they're allowing their kids to behave like this, it's crazy business. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that Emily isn't even a single parent and she's got a husband there that actually wants to, actually have a good foundation of discipline, and she's just undermining him, ignoring him because she wants to allow the kids to have a free mind or whatever BS that she said, is just nasty work. Because imagine how many women or even men in this world who are single parents who would love to have a partner with them that's actually going to help them parent the kids. That's actually going to be like, hey, don't do that. Because at the end of the day, all Colby's trying to do is build, is to install respect from the kids, so the kids know how to respect him and the mum, but the mum is not allowing it. I guess she wants to be, but then again though, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness gracious me, how did I not even figure this out sooner? But then again though, we see how Emily behaves, and Emily behaves the way she behaves because of why? Because of her parents. That's why. So, and it's crazy because even when it came to Emily's father speaking to Colby, he was pretty much enabling Emily's behavior. Do you see what I'm saying? So, really and truly, we now know that Emily's parenting style isn't something that just started with her. It's something that also started off with her parents as well, which of course isn't a good thing because now this is generational type BS. So there's also that part too. I always say that when we are born to be better and greater than our parents. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing? That's how it's supposed to be, right? Emily clearly is not one of those people, unfortunately, for her kids. But at the same time, though, I will say this: Colby is not innocent in this because he's the one that has chosen to be with this woman. He's the one that's chosen to allow this woman to walk all over him. We have seen him become the doormat to Emily's attitude and the way she behaves. So to be fair, at the same time, what did Colby expect? Colby knew going into this marriage, going into this whole relationship, that he was never going to have a backbone. He's tried, and each time he tries, he always fails. And the fact that he's still failing even now to have a backbone when it comes to being a parent with Emily, not only for 1, 2, 3 kids, but now an upcoming 4th child. Let's let that sink in. So really and truly, we can sit here and, pretty much say that Emily's this, Emily's that, but at the same time, this doesn't make Colby innocent because he's the one that's allowing it, you know what I mean? And this is something that I've said so many times before. He needs to put his freaking foot down. He needs to stand on that freaking business. But instead of doing that, he's allowing his wife to walk all over him, and now he's witnessing his kids are basically gonna grow up without no backbone. Which is crazy, without recognizing what discipline is. One of the best role models Colby could ever do for his kids is to show them how to have a backbone. Do you see what I'm saying? But that one's a bit of a sticky one because, of course, we don't want mommy and daddy fighting in front of the kids. We don't want mommy and daddy undermining each other in front of the kids, which is something that I did like about that scene because Colby tried to say what he wanted to say, but then at the same time, I'm sure he realized there's no point in having this conversation in front of the kids because it's not cool, so therefore he doubled down. Which, to be fair, again, Emily should not be putting her husband in a position where he has to double down just because the kids are there, because she wants to obviously have a snarky, disgusting attitude. Yeah, that part. With that being said, I'm actually leave it there, to be fair, because I've said a lot of things. So I'm going to leave you guys in the comment section to let me know what you're thinking down below, and we can most certainly talk about it. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.